Racism is the belief that a particular race is superior or inferior to another, that a person's social and moral traits are predetermined by his or her inborn biological characteristics. We don't really have too much information about how or when racism started, but we know that it has been in history since the 16th century.
To talk about this topic, we're going to take postures in favor and against, basing our arguments on philosophers with said postures.
My posture is against with the philosopher Franz Fanon, and Vanessa's posture is in favor with the philosopher Immanuel Kant. When Fanon was listed in the army, saw discrimination between members of the military, and he didn't understand the reason why black soldiers didn't have the same treatment as white soldiers, and why black people was afraid of about the possibility that their skin color could be a strong weakness for them. He developed a theory about the liberation of the colonized people and who suffer racism. He said that colonialism does not yell, but it's with the knife in the neck. In moments of war, where human liberty was threatened and so many people were dying, he thought that the problem of racism and discrimination could be inside the soldiers. That's why he enlisted to the army to look what was the behavior of the people that would fight for their freedom. Likewise, he joined the army of for independence in Algeria to free a place that was corrupted by a dictatorship. So we can assume that he had always been against oppression or discrimination, and that's why he had the courage to help those ones suffering for that. Frantz Fanon was against colonization. He believed that it just caused the dehumanization of the people colonized by dominating them and make them follow the same traditions that the colonizer has. And he exemplified this with anti-Semitism as the desolation of the humanity and the rejection of what being a human means. That's the reason why he criticized Marxism when he talked about colonization. In conclusion, we can see that Frantz Fanon colonization is the main problem that causes racism, discrimination, and the loss of the humanity.
Black people are catalogued as animals, inferior races, which are designed by God to be used as slaves. During the 50s and 60s, it was held that black people had a part of the brain that made them happen to follow orders. If animals can be cattle and blacks were considered animals, therefore black can be livestock. And after the War of Secession, the Ku Klux Klan, a group mainly supremacy of the white race, and hence racism, emerged. After being slaves for a long time, the blacks had had rules to follow to behave among the whites. For example, if blacks were not going to school, if they had to take the bus, they had to be standing or sitting at the back of it, and if a white person came, they had to give them their seat, or they were thrown off the bus, etc.
In conclusion, racism is a topic that has been sought for a long time to be eradicated, but there will always be people who think that racism is necessary to maintain a balance in society. The debate on this problem is likely to continue for a long time because it is a subject that is subject to many different opinions. What we could do is to treat others with the respect with which we want to be treated.